a picture of this. You're trekking through the mountains of Central Asia, but not the Silk Road, no.
Yeah.
Like way back in time, like 150,000 years ago.
Wow.
Who would you run into? Like, what would their lives be like?
Yeah.
Well, that's where we're headed today, to an archaeological site.
Okay.
Soy Havzak in Tajikistan.
Ooh, Tajikistan. Now, this is fascinating because Central Asia, it kind of gets overshadowed when we talk about like human evolution, right?
Yeah.
But this site, I think it hints at a much richer story. It might have been a crossroads.
Oh, wow.
Like a meeting point for different human species.
Okay.
So imagine Neanderthals and Denisovans just crossing paths. Right there.
That is wild. Okay, so you sent over an article detailing the discovery.
Yes.
And the initial findings at Soy Havzak. And I have to say, some of this stuff is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, really mind-blowing.
It's really shaking things up.
Yeah.
In terms of how we understand the Zerevshan Valley.
Okay.
Right? We think of it like bustling with traders.
Right, the Silk Road.
Silk Road, exactly. But this pushes human activity back tens of thousands of years.
Wow.
So it was a key migration route long before.
Wow. So not even just like a quick stopover, right?
Right.
Like the archaeologists, they uncovered 3 separate areas at Soy Havzak.
Wow.
With artifacts.
Yeah.
Spanning, get this, 20,000 to 150,000 years ago.
That's a pretty serious span of time.
It's huge.
Yeah. It suggests maybe more than just a corridor, right?
Right.
More than just migration.
Right.
A more permanent settlement, maybe. And that's where the tools kind of come in.
Okay.
They found a variety of stone tools.
Right.
And the craftsmanship is remarkable.
Really?
We're talking hand axes, scrapers, points.
Wow.
All suggesting a level of sophistication.
Yeah.
Planning. That really forces us to rethink like what we know.
Yeah, it's funny. As someone who's always, I'm fascinated by early humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always get stuck on this image of like really crude stone tools.
Right.
But this article, it mentioned carefully selected stones
Yeah.
and advanced craftsmanship.
Right.
Like, what does that tell us about the species who made them?
Well, it raises the question, are we dealing with Neanderthals, early Homo sapiens?
Right.
Or even like something else,
Right.
Entirely.
Right.
The skill level suggests a species capable of abstract thought, planning, and even teaching.
So not just bashing rocks together.
No.
This was like, this is a deliberate, learned process.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder, like, about their social structures, too. Like,
Right.
were they working together, sharing knowledge?
Yeah.
Even, like, specializing in certain tool-making techniques?
Those are questions that archaeologists are trying to answer.
Right.
But it's not just the tools. It's also, they uncovered some very well-preserved organic material.
Oh, wow.
Burnt wood, animal bones, even some vegetation.
Wow, that's so lucky.
Oh.
Because I know organic material, it decomposes so quickly,
Yes.
especially in warmer climates.
Yes.
So that's incredible.
That's what's so unique. It's
Yeah.
really a window into their environment, their diet, and even the climate. It's like they left us a time capsule.
Wow. Okay, so we've got sophisticated tools, evidence of fire, a rich collection of organic material.
Yeah.
It just paints a picture of like a thriving community, not just a group passing through. But the article also mentioned hoping to find human remains. Like, why is that so crucial?
Well, finding those remains, that'd be like finding the missing puzzle piece. It would let us definitively identify the species at Soy Havzak, right?
Right.
Go
Yeah.
beyond like guesswork based on tool making.
Right.
And just imagine holding like a bone fragment from one of these ancient humans, Be like reaching back through time, touching our own history.
Yeah, wow. And it could answer so many questions. Did different human species interact there? Was it a point of conflict, cooperation, or maybe even like interbreeding? The article mentioned Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA being present in modern humans.
Yeah.
So could Soy Havzak hold clues to those ancient encounters?
It's possible. It's a real possibility. This site could be like so pivotal in unraveling those mysteries.
Right.
And tracing those lineages that led to us. But even without human remains, the site is already challenging assumptions.
That's right. We talk about the Zerevshan Valley as this major Silk Road route, but you mentioned it was a key migration path.
Long before that.
Way before that. Like, what was the region like back then, say 150,000 years ago? Were they walking through lush forests? Or was it, like, more harsh?
That's where things get interesting. Research suggests that the climate back then was way colder and drier than today, less vegetation, harsher conditions. This wasn't like a leisurely stroll, through a nice landscape.
Right.
These humans were contending with a very challenging environment.
Yeah.
And that likely shaped every aspect of their lives.
So not the lush oasis we might picture. It's amazing that they not only survived,
yeah,
but, like, thrived in such a difficult climate.
It really speaks to their adaptability, their resourcefulness.
It's like saying, okay, limited resources, harsh climate, and who knows what predators are roaming around.
Exactly.
Now build a life.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in awe of these people.
Yeah, why you should be. And this is just the beginning.
Right.
The discovery of soy habzak has opened up a treasure trove of questions.
Yeah.
And we're really just starting to uncover the answers.
This is where I always get a little impatient.
Okay.
We've got these incredible artifacts.
Yeah.
Hints of a fascinating past.
Yeah.
But there's still so much we don't know.
Right.
So what are the researchers focusing on next? What mysteries are they hoping to solve?
Well, for starters, they're continuing excavations, hoping to find more artifacts and those elusive human remains.
Right.
But the analysis of what they've already found is just as important.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
What are the key areas of analysis?
Okay.
What can they tell us?
We'll dive into all those details. Right after we take a quick break, trust me, the deeper we go, the more fascinating this story gets. Welcome back. So, as I was saying, the analysis of this site, I think you'll be fascinated to learn how scientists are piecing this ancient puzzle together.
I'm ready. Because it's one thing to dig stuff up, but it's another to actually get meaning out of it.
Right.
Like, where do they even start?
Well, every object tells a story.
Okay.
Take the stone tools, right?
Uh-huh.
Researchers, they're not just like cataloging them. They're analyzing the type of stone, the techniques, even like the wear patterns.
Oh, wow.
And this tells us not only about their skills, but also potential trade networks or movement across the landscape.
It's like detective work.
Yes.
But across thousands of years.
Precisely.
Right.
And like a detective would use forensic evidence, right?
Right.
Archaeologists, they're using high-tech methods to get a clearer picture.
That's cool.
Remember that harsh climate we talked about?
Yeah, yeah.
Analyzing that organic material can tell us exactly how they adapted.
Oh, okay. So, like, we've got the burnt wood.
Yes.
Clear sign of fire.
Yep.
But what else? Like, can they learn from a piece of charcoal?
Oh, yeah.
Or a fossilized seed?
More than you might think.
Okay.
Using techniques like radiocarbon dating, they can actually determine the age of those materials with incredible accuracy.
No way.
It works by measuring the decay of carbon isotopes. Think of it like a clock that starts ticking when something dies.
Oh, wow.
Right. So this helps build a timeline of activity at the site.
That's amazing. Okay, I've always heard about radiocarbon dating,
Yeah.
but never really understood how it works.
Right.
That's really cool. So it's like we have a time machine.
It is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What about the animal bones, though?
Yeah.
Do those tell us more than just like what's for dinner?
Absolutely. Analyzing the bones can reveal details about their hunting techniques, their butchering practices, and even the overall health of the animal population. They might even find evidence of species that we didn't know existed or thought were extinct.
Oh, wow.
In that region.
It's mind-blowing how much information is just like hidden
I know.
in these seemingly ordinary objects.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes you wonder about our trash heaps.
Right.
What will future archaeologists think of us based on our leftovers?
That is a thought-provoking question.
Right.
Right. But let's get back to soy havzak.
Okay.
I know you're particularly interested in the human remains and what that could tell us about our own ancestry.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because the article mentioned Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA being present in modern humans.
Right.
So could analyzing the remains from soy havzak, could that help us like trace those connections?
Yeah.
Especially if different human species were like living like right there together.
It's a possibility. Imagine extracting like ancient DNA from a bone fragment and comparing it to Neanderthal or Denisovan genomes.
Oh, wow.
Like it could confirm their presence, reveal migration patterns, even show us the extent of interbreeding.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But okay, I have to ask, how do they even get usable DNA from something that old? Like, wouldn't it would be so degraded.
It's a huge challenge,
Right.
but technology has come a long way. Scientists can now extract and analyze even like tiny fragments of ancient DNA. It's like piecing together a shredded document.
No.
Painstaking, but the results can be revolutionary.
Okay, so let's imagine like they do find human remains.
Okay.
And they're able to extract DNA. What specific markers
Right.
would they look for to determine things like species
Right.
or interbreeding?
They would focus on specific regions of the genome that are known to vary between different human groups.
Okay.
For example, certain genes are associated with Neanderthal traits, while others, they're linked to Denisovan ancestry. Oh. By comparing the ancient DNA to modern human genomes, they can trace those connections across time and geography.
It's like connecting the dots, but like on a genetic level.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think like our DNA just carries traces of these ancient encounters. But okay, beyond just the genetics, what else can we learn from like skeletal remains? I remember reading about how scientists can reconstruct facial features,
Right.
or even determine a cause of death from ancient bones.
You're right. Skeletal analysis can be very revealing. By studying the size, the shape, and the structure of the bones, researchers can estimate age, sex, height, even diet.
Really?
They can also look for signs of injury, disease, malnutrition, or even like repetitive strain injuries that might hint at their daily activities.
Oh, so like we could learn about their health, their lifestyle,
maybe
even their social status,
exactly.
based on like how well nourished they were,
Yep.
or if they had access to like better food or whatever.
And don't forget about those intriguing tools we talked about.
Right.
Connecting those tools with specific individuals could be very insightful. Tell us about their skills, their specializations, and maybe even like social hierarchies within the group.
It's like each piece of evidence just adds another like layer to the story.
Right.
It lets us build a more complete picture of these ancient people. But I don't want to forget about the environment they were living in. You mentioned that the climate was a lot colder, drier.
Much colder.
Yeah.
Than today.
How might that have impacted their lives?
Right.
Beyond just like finding food and shelter.
That's a great question, and that's an area where researchers are still exploring.
Okay.
Like all those possibilities, right. But we can kind of speculate. A harsh climate would put enormous pressure on these early humans.
Yeah.
Forced them to be resourceful and adaptable.
Makes you wonder if those challenges actually like spurred innovation.
Right.
Maybe drove them to develop new tools, hunting techniques, new ways of like preserving food.
Right.
That we might find at Soy Hausak.
That's a fascinating thought. We often associate human advancement with times of like plenty,
Right.
But maybe it's those moments of hardship that really push us to innovate and evolve. And that's where the analysis of plant remains becomes really crucial.
Right. We haven't talked much about the vegetation they found.
Yeah.
Like what can that tell us about the environment and how these humans like interacted with it?
The plant remains are like fingerprints of the past.
Oh, wow.
They offer clues about the climate, the landscape, even the resources that were available to them.
Okay.
They might find evidence of specific plants used for food, medicine, clothing.
Wow.
Even shelter.
So it's not just about identifying like what kind of plants, but like how they used them.
Yes.
Right. Were they gathering wild plants, cultivating them, or even like trading them with other groups?
These are all possibilities that researchers are exploring.
Right.
And remember, that climate was different back then. So the plant life...
Right. It would have been different too.
Right. They might find evidence of species that no longer exist in the region or discover new ways that they adapted to their environment.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces of evidence, like the tools, the bones, the plants... They're all connected.
They all connect.
It's all part of like a richer understanding of the past.
It is. It is.
Wow. But with so much to analyze and so many questions, like where do they even begin? Do they like prioritize certain areas?
Right.
Or is it more holistic?
Ideally, it's a combination.
Okay.
Right. They will have specific questions they want to answer, like what species of human was present or what were their subsistence strategies. But they also have to be open to the unexpected.
Of course.
Right.
Right.
And be willing to adjust their approach as new evidence emerges.
It's like solving a puzzle. But every time you put a piece in, it reveals a new part of the picture.
It is. And sometimes those unexpected pieces lead to the most exciting breakthrough.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Right. That's why archaeology is so dynamic.
Yeah.
Constantly evolving. Always something new to learn.
Right.
A new mystery to uncover. A new story to tell.
Speaking of stories, I'm curious about the bigger picture.
Okay.
We've been like laser focused on Soy Havzak.
Right.
But what does this discovery tell us about Central Asia's role in human history?
That's a question we'll delve into in just a little bit.
Okay.
But Soy Havzak has yielded a wealth of information about these early humans. But what's truly captivating, I think, is the glimpse it offers into their ingenuity and resilience.
Yeah, it's hard not to be impressed by that. Their ability to not just survive, but thrive in such a challenging environment. We've talked about the tools and strategies, but what about their social structures?
Right.
Like, how did they organize themselves?
Right.
Were they living in small family groups, larger communities?
That's a question researchers are still trying to piece together, but the evidence suggests a level of cooperation that goes beyond like basic survival. The complexity of the tools, the fire, the potential trade networks, all of that points to organization.
Wow.
Communication.
It's fascinating to think about how they interacted, shared knowledge.
Yeah.
Maybe even like developed rituals or beliefs that help them like make sense of the world.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, like, could we find evidence of symbolic thought?
Right.
Early forms of art.
It's certainly possible.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if they do, that would further challenge our assumptions
Right.
about their cognitive abilities.
It really highlights how much we still don't know about our own past. Soy Havzak is just one site, one little window into this vast, complex history.
Exactly. And that brings us back to your question about the bigger picture.
Okay.
So Havzak is like a wake-up call.
Okay.
That Central Asia has been overlooked
Right.
in our understanding of human evolution.
Yeah, it's like we've been so focused on certain like chapters of the human story that we missed entire volumes.
Right.
So what are some key questions that researchers are hoping to answer by exploring Central Asia more deeply?
Well, one of the biggest mysteries is the route and the timing of those first human journeys out of Africa.
Oh, wow.
Did they hug the coastlines or venture inland through Central Asia? When did they arrive and how did they adapt to these very diverse environments?
It's like tracing those ancient pathways, those first like steps
Yeah.
into a new world. Like we could retrace the footsteps of our ancestors.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And not just one group, but potentially multiple waves of migration, each with their own stories. We might find Neanderthals pushing further east than we thought, or Denisovans leaving their mark on the genetic landscape.
You mentioned Denisovans earlier.
Yes.
And we know so little about them. Could Central Asia be the place where we finally find more substantial remains?
It's possible. Imagine uncovering a Denisovan settlement with their tools, artifacts, maybe even remains.
Oh,
That would be a game changer.
right.
Allowing us to put a face, a story to this enigmatic human relative.
And maybe even rewrite the textbooks
Possibly.
on human evolution. It's incredible to think that such like groundbreaking discoveries could be just like waiting.
I know.
What about cultural interactions, though?
Yeah.
Central Asia has always been like a crossroads
Right.
for different cultures,
Always.
civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
So could we find evidence of like those ancient encounters?
Absolutely.
And-
Trade networks, artistic influences, languages, ideas. All of these leave traces in the archaeological record. We might find like Roman coins next to Chinese pottery.
Wow.
Or evidence of early religious practices.
Oh, wow.
Blending different traditions.
It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle
Yeah.
with each artifact revealing a new connection,
Yes.
a new like layer of complexity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as we uncover those connections,
Right.
we're not just learning about the past, we're learning about ourselves.
It's about recognizing that our story, the human story, is far richer and more interconnected than we often imagine.
Absolutely.
So Havzak has given us a glimpse.
Yeah.
But it's just the tip of the iceberg.
And that's what I hope you take away from this.
Yeah.
It's not just about one site, one region.
Right.
Keep that curiosity alive.
Right.
That thirst for knowledge.
Yeah.
Because who knows what secrets are still waiting to be uncovered.
Well said. And for those listening, I encourage you to do just that. Keep exploring, asking questions.
Yeah.
Dig deeper into the mysteries of our shared past.
You never know what you might find.
You never know. Thanks for joining us
Thank you.
on this incredible journey through time. We've been talking a lot about Soy Havzak, and for good reason.
Yeah.
But you kind of hinted that its significance, it goes way beyond just this one valley in Tajikistan. Like it's like a spotlight on a whole region.
Exactly. For too long, Central Asia, it's been this blank space
Right.
on the map of human evolution. You know, we've been focused on Africa, Europe, parts of East Asia even,
Right.
but we've missed some crucial pieces of the puzzle.
So if Soy Havzak is like rewriting what we thought we knew, what other secrets could be buried in Central Asia? It's a huge area.
Right.
So many different landscapes and such a long history.
Just imagine, you're an archaeologist
Okay.
standing on a windswept plain in Kazakhstan or exploring a hidden cave in Kyrgyzstan. What might you find? Tools even older than those at Soy Havzak.
Evidence of migrations we haven't even traced yet.
It's like stepping into the unknown.
It is.
And as someone who, I love those aha moments of discovery,
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder, what if Central Asia holds the key to some of the biggest debates in human evolution?
That's what's so exciting.
Right.
Think about it. The timing of migrations.
Right.
Out of Africa.
Right.
Interactions between different species.
Right.
The development of early cultures.
Yeah.
Technology.
Let's get specific. What are some of the big questions that researchers are really hoping to answer by exploring Central Asia more deeply?
Well, one of the biggest mysteries is the route and the timing of those first human journeys out of Africa.
Oh, wow.
Did they follow the coast?
Oh.
Or head inland through Central Asia?
Right.
When did they get there, and how did they adapt to all those different environments?
So tracing those ancient pathways.
Exactly.
Those first tentative steps into a new world.
Yes. It'd be like retracing the footsteps of our ancestors.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And not just one group.
Right.
But many waves of migration, each with its own story. We might find Neanderthals going further east than we thought. Or Denisovans making their mark on the genetic landscape.
Yeah. You mentioned Denisovans before.
Yeah.
And we know so little about them.
Was it?
Mainly just from their DNA.
Right.
In modern humans.
Yeah.
Could Central Asia be the place where we actually find some real Denisovan remains?
It's a real possibility. Imagine uncovering a Denisovan settlement with their tools, their artifacts.
Wow.
Maybe even skeletal remains. That'd be a game changer.
That's huge.
Finally put a face and a story to this mysterious human relative.
And maybe even rewrite those textbooks on human evolution. It's incredible to think that those discoveries could just be right there waiting for us.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. What about cultural interactions though? Central Asia, it's always been a crossroads.
Always.
A meeting point for different cultures, civilizations.
Yeah.
So could we find evidence of those ancient encounters?
Absolutely. Trade networks.
Yeah.
Artistic influences.
Yeah.
The spread of languages, ideas.
Wow.
It all leaves a trace. We might find Roman coins next to Chinese pottery.
Wow.
Or evidence of early religious practices that blended different traditions.
It's like we're putting together this giant jigsaw puzzle.
It is.
And with each artifact, it just reveals another connection, another layer of complexity.
Exactly. And as we uncover those connections, we're not just learning about the past, we're learning about ourselves.
It's about recognizing that our story, the human story, it's so much richer and more interconnected than we often imagine.
Absolutely.
So how's that give us a glimpse? But it really is just the tip of the iceberg.
And that's what I hope you'll take away from this.
Yeah.
It's not just about one site or one region. Keep that curiosity alive.
Right.
Keep asking questions. Keep wanting to learn and explore. Because who knows? What amazing secrets are still waiting?
Well said. And for those listening, I encourage you to do just that.
Yes.
Keep exploring. Keep asking those questions. Keep digging deeper into the mysteries of our shared past. You never know what you might find. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through time.